Hello, everybody. Welcome to our monthly Zoom meet. So, our monthly Zoom meet is where people who are on the gold tier come together once a month just to talk, share, ask questions, get advice from other people. And I always say our schedules are very busy. Sometimes you can make it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes there are several people here, sometimes there is just dear old Amy. So, somebody might join us. Let's wait and see. That would be super fun. If I was in the middle of talking and somebody popped up on the screen, I would love it. If you think that you might be interested in joining in on these monthly live chats, you can find more information on that if you click up at the top of the website on the community page. So I have something I've been giving a lot of thought, and let's talk about it just a little bit today. How do different doses feel? This is a conversation I wish that I had been a part of before I started. I was very confused. What I had in my head and what was reality were two different things. My doctor was fantastic. He was super nice. He listened to me. He does not have any appearance to have ever had an issue with weight, and yet he was sympathetic, super respectful. But it was kind of like this. Okay, Amy, I'm going to write you the prescription. You can pick it up from your pharmacy tonight. I had to read my own instructions to figure out how to give myself the shot, how it worked, right? And then he said, I'll go ahead and I'll write you another prescription for month 2 when you bump up to the 5.0. Bye. Okay. I was so happy because I had already struck out before trying to get the Mounjaro. I've lived a life overweight. I've lost 70 pounds. I had a BMI of 35 and I was motivated. I was thrilled. I was on the phone probably 5 times with my pharmacy that day. I was trying to teach, I was trying to take their calls, and I picked it up at 6 p.m. that night. But I had a lot of things to learn. So I want to share with you, how do different doses feel? So let's start with the 2.5. The 2.5, when you go look at the peer reviews, when they talk about the results of the clinical data, the scientific studies that Eli Lilly did on Mounjaro, on Zepbound, they don't even include the 2.5 in those results. They don't tell you, like, here's the results of people who are on the 2.5, because they consider that an introductory dose. So start off there. Now, let me talk to you about how doses make you feel, and then let's go back and talk about the 2.5, ramping up all the way to 15.0. Let's talk about how doses make you feel. Let's start way up here. Some doses are severe side effects. Oh, that's right, severe side effects. It's more of they're too strong, and maybe you have went to a dose that you felt this way, like, what? No, this is too strong. There are just too many things happening with my body that I can't put up with. I said to my family before I started Mounjaro, I will put up with a lot. I have been trying to lose this weight since early high school. That is the late 80s, early 90s. That was a long time that I had been really wanting it hard, trying everything that I could. So I was willing to put up with quite a bit of stomach issues. I had read all the studies. So even though it's a small percentage, I was psychologically ready for that. So some doses are just too severe. Let's go one step down. Some doses are very strong. You react to them. They're very strong. You can't imagine having any stronger of a dose. For me, that was the 2.5 when I started. Oh goodness, I can't even hardly move my thumb these days. That was the 2.0 when I started. I took the 2.5. I took the 2.5 shot in the evening, on a Monday evening when I went and picked it up. I'm used to going to bed feeling hungry, because anybody else have the nonstop food chatter before Mounjaro and Zepbound? I could tell within a few hours, wow, this is different. This has hit me. I am reacting differently. I'm feeling differently about food than I normally do. It's not like I'm 21 or 22 and I've just been experiencing this for a few years. Like, I know myself well. And it was amazing. It was amazing to not feel like grazing in the kitchen at bedtime. And the next day, I had no issues with food. And the next day, I had no issues with food. Now, when I say very strong, that's because I had to start counting my calories, which in the past would have been like, ugh, please. Like, I've tried this and it's failed so many times. But I had to do it as, not to be dramatic, like a survival technique, as in like I wouldn't survive, but a survival technique to properly take care of my body, because the dose was so strong. The 2.5 was so strong. I was only eating 700 or 800 calories. And I was just like, blech, like this is all I can do. I had a breakfast, got my way through lunch. Like I'm finished. I can't eat anymore. My family came to my rescue after a little over a week and said, I want to see how many calories you've had today. And it was out of love. And I took it that way. And I really appreciated them, even though I didn't want anything to do with food, even a small amount of food. When I would finish lunch, I would be like, I don't have to think about food for another like 5 hours. That's how strong that it was for me. Then let's go right in the middle, right? Way too strong, very strong. Sweet spot. I wrote, it's doing its thing. It's doing what you want it to do. We have not been able to control the amount of food that we put in our mouths. For me, I wanted it like oxygen. If you had said you can go to a buffet like all year long and not gain weight, or you can have a month vacation with your family over in Europe, I would have 100% picked the food. And I knew back then I would. I said this back then. I was addicted. I was addicted. I wanted it like oxygen. And if you had offered me a lot of money, I would have lost it. It wasn't that I wasn't trying hard enough. It was bigger and stronger than who I am. And for a lot of us, we wanted it so bad and we couldn't ever attain it because it was just somehow bigger and stronger than who we were. The messages that our brains were getting, like, I want food, were so loud, so loud. Let's come down a step. The medicine is weak. It's weak. Maybe you just feel a little bit appetite suppression. Maybe your doctor's looking at your sugar levels and they're like, they're helping you a little bit, but this isn't good enough. And so you're at a dose that it's not strong enough for you. You need to titrate up. And then I've read from plenty people who are down at the bottom, no effect. There are plenty people who share with us on our website, I took this dose and I didn't feel anything. Now here is the fascinating thing, and then the video is yours. For some people, let's take the 5.0. If I went up to the 5.0, it would have been horrible. I ended up calling my doctor after 2.5 weeks. And I mean, I only had 2.5 weeks experience. Everything that I was reading, everything people were saying, all the charts from Eli Lilly, this is back in the beginning. It's not so much anymore. And I've showed you like internet companies who are selling Mounjaro, who are no longer saying like, this is what you do month 1, this is what you do month 2. There's always this little caveat, like, unless this drug is working well for you. Well, I was really nervous. I wanted to do this right. And this was really important to me. And it was working. So for me to call the doctor and say, cancel that 5.0, 2.5 is working well for me, leave me on it. Looking back now, like, good job, Amy. You know, you went with your heart, you went with your gut, you talked to your doctor. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. That's why these videos are fantastic, because all of them, they just educate us. You know, all the time when I'm reading and learning from other people, it's just helping paint a picture and helping me make my journey smoother. So for me, the 5.0 would have been horrible. The 2.5 was really rough in the beginning. So the 5.0 just would have been awful for me, would not have been appropriate for me. I have heard from other people who went up to the 10.0, and the 10.0 for them was like, that was the horrible one. Like, it was too strong. They wish they had stayed on the 7.5. They were losing weight on the 7.5. They were feeling okay. Their side effects were controllable, and they titrated up and they wrote, bad choice, bad move. I'd like to go and redo that. Okay, so then let's talk about sweet spots. Right now, my sweet spot is the 5.0. I've been there most of the last year. I just talked to somebody 2 days ago who was emailing me, and they're at maintenance. They're doing great. 7.5 is their sweet spot. They've tried to go to 5.0. They were like, Amy, like the food chatter, it was coming back. And so I said, yeah, you're doing this right. Yes, we're tired of white knuckling it. We know that life with the food chatter. No, good. The 7.5 is good for you. And they said, hey, in the future, I'd like to titrate down. I would like to like settle in at a little bit of a lower dose. We'll see when that happens. And I said, I love everything you're saying. Keep communicating with your doctor. And I'm glad you found a place that's good for you. Some people holding steady at 10.0. Some people holding steady. Just read somebody yesterday. They're at the 15.0. They're doing great. They're feeling good. They're getting closer and closer to their goal weights. Now, let's just go on to the I'm not feeling it at all. The question at the beginning was, how do different doses feel? It's different for every person, which is important for you to remind yourself. You listen to what your body's telling you, listen to your inclination, go with your gut. You know yourself best. Talk to your doctor about all the things that you're feeling and that you're thinking, because there were people who started Mounjaro and Zepbound on the 2.5, and they weren't like Amy. They felt nothing. Like, I'm sorry, did I just take something? And they'll write about it. And you can find I'm a little bit of the outsider. Not many people went all the way to goal weight. About 3 weeks before I hit goal weight, I went up to the 5.0. I lost the majority of my weight on the 2.5. I'm the outlier. Most of the people kept titrating up, which is why these days, there's quite a supply issue right around the 7.5, 10.0, because based on all my reading, that's where a lot of people landed. But there's a lot of people listening to me right now who are like, the 2.5, I didn't feel anything. The 5.0, I didn't feel anything. You can go and read plenty of people who had to get to the 12.5 or the 15.0 before they really felt like I have some satiation. I am feeling like when I have some food, I feel good. I don't have to overeat. I don't have to binge. And it takes the 12.5 or the 15.0 for their body, for their brain to get that message. And there is a small percentage of people who I have personally communicated with who were not feeling hardly anything on the 15.0. Do you see the wide range of differences and how these doses feel? And it's different for each and every person. You can find a friend online whose story mirrors yours. There's not hardly any story where you're the only one, especially with tens of thousands of people starting these drugs every month. And it is, for me, never stops being fascinating, reading personal stories, how it's going with you, how people are doing on these drugs. That's really helped me in my journey to smooth out. And I've absolutely loved bringing you these videos. But there are some people for which 15.0 just isn't enough for them. And, they're talking to their doctor and looking at other options. But that's been our video for today on Amy, how do different doses feel? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.